you doing, man? How'd the bye week treat you?
Yeah, it was, as you know, we had some real challenges and things that put everything into perspective, and certainly, but I'm sure our team will be resilient, and I think our head coach said it best. We're not ever going to move on from that, but we'll move forward.
Yeah, that was a terrific line, and you got to love how Shoddy has, the ability to put his arms around a situation and provide some comfort or wisdom, or how would you describe it?
I think it's right. I just think it comes back to his authenticity. He's got a big heart. Everything about him's real. I know the team feels that way about him. I know his staff does. I know certainly ownership and management feel the same way. And I think he's just done an outstanding job of working with our team and working through his staff. As we said, going through a really difficult situation that certainly puts everything in perspective.
Stephen, speaking of difficult, you're going to bring back several players this week on your defensive side of the ball, and I just wondered about how that will work with some of the roster moves that you have to make. And I know we saw Solomon Thomas appear on the injury report yesterday, and calves could be a tricky thing. Are we looking at some IR stints here with some guys? How are you guys going to try and get some of these guys onto the roster this week?
Well, the guys are, obviously Revel and Overshone are on now.
Sure.
So we really got one move to make with Hooker.
Yeah.
And we'll work through what that'll be, and, we'll make that move Monday.
Are we finally ready to see this damn good defense come together?
I'm ready. I'd love to see how these guys are going to play together, and certainly, when you're talking about the caliber of some of these guys, they certainly you would hope to think that that we're going to be better. And obviously, we hadn't played this year. It is what it is, and. We know what it's been, but obviously the goal is to continue to work hard every week, and certainly, adding, the 4 or 5 players we're adding back into the mix. We hope that's going to make a big difference, and obviously there's some really good football players in that mix.
Yeah, I think it actually gets to 6 or maybe even 7 if you count Carson coming back there right before the bye. What was the after-action report on Kneeland? It just looks so much more solid than his first year for us.
Yeah, he just, I think he's got a lot more confidence. I think he's, really for the first time since the beginning of last year, I think he really feels good physically. And, his body language is great out there. He's practicing hard. He not only, his defensive snaps were good, but, he played really good on special teams as well. So, it's, you're a lot different player when you're healthy and you can play fast.
Stephen, the coaching staff has talked about competition at the right tackle spot, and you've come on and talked to us about continuity. Is this difficult for you personally, too, or are you like, listen, coaches want to have a competition out there and we'll do it?
Yeah, I think, each coach has his own way about how he brings out the best in his players, and I'm certainly supportive. I do think at the end of the day, competition is good for everybody, and certainly, some competitions are more visual to media, to the public than others, but, in my mind, our guys are competing every day. All 53, and as I used to say as well, you're not only competing against the guys that are on the roster, but maybe guys that may be on another roster, and so and let go. But at the end of the day, you just want everybody to go out there, practice their ass off, and get better.
Stephen, with your offensive line is, in the Arizona game, you had some pressures. You've kind of had some pressures throughout, though. Just kind of talk about, though, is it been a little bit because the offensive line it was together, and then there are injuries? Is it been a little bit of that in how some of the play has been the last couple of weeks?
I just think it's at the end of the day, it's a little bit of everything, and that's why you got to go back to work each week. I mean, I think Coach Schottenheimer and Clayton and Connor would tell you, that they've got to do a better job. I think the offensive line guys will tell you the players have to do. Our players will tell you they have to be better. Dak will tell you he has to be better. Certainly, we hadn't played our best ball the last couple of games, and we look forward to Monday and getting a chance to get things back on track and being the top of offense we know we can be.
We were kind of looking at maybe having to go 6-2 to bring this thing into realistic shot of making the playoffs. And it's obviously week to week, and you got to control what you can control. But do you think that'd be a realistic goal for the final 8 games?
Yeah, like I said, we look at it week to week, and we know everybody's pretty aware of what usually takes to get in the playoffs. But the only way you're going to go on a run, which we need to do because we are in a hole, and we do need to get on a run. But the only way to do that is take each game week to week.
Stephen, the addition, though, of Quinnen Williams, I mean, you talked about earlier about how you need to help your run defense. How do you see the Quinnen Williams trade working out for you guys, and how and what he brings for you guys defensively?
Well, when you add one of the dominant tackles, which is, we've been really, making a conscientious effort by bringing Kenny Clark in here and now Quinnen and, getting Osa taken care of in the offseason. I think it starts with the big guys in the middle, and now we got to go out and execute and have those guys work together. But whenever you add a guy of Quinnen's stature, which is an all-pro type football defensive player that's can be dominant against the run and getting pressure in the passing game, you got to believe you're going to get better, and certainly that's why we made the trade. Everybody was totally on board with making the trade. Obviously, it came at a price, but we think that Quinnen's not only going to be a big time help to our defense this year, but for years to come.
How late in the day did that one come together? Was that a Tuesday morning? Are we going to do this or not? Or did you have your idea set that you were going to do that eventually?
Well, they had always known, going back to our previous trade with Micah, that we had interest in Quinnen. And so they knew we were aware, and, but usually those things don't come together. I mean, the finality of it comes together quickly, but usually it's because you've been visiting and throwing things around for days.
What can you tell us about the reported poison pill clause that was there in that trade with Micah? Was it true that if they would have flipped him to Philadelphia, they would have owed you another one?
Well, we want to talk about our future, and certainly Quinnen Williams, and don't want to get into things we've done in terms of our business in the past.
How much do you see all 3 of those big guys being on the field together at the same time?
I think you're going to see it quite a bit. As you saw in the last game, we thought we played better defensively and made improvements. And, we ran a lot of 5-man fronts. And certainly when you look at a 5-man front that's got those 3 guys in the middle there, you got a chance to do some exciting things. And, we've got some good young end coming along fast in 41, Easy or Dono. I don't ever try to say his name, but at the end of the day, he's coming along, and we got, a lot of other guys there that can help with the pressure. So I do think you're going to see all 3 of these guys on the field quite a bit.
Stephen, with Ravel, coming back to the, and you mentioned being on the roster and stuff and practice and all that. I thought he was one of the best corners in the draft when I watched him play, and that's with with the injury and stuff. How do you feel about him, the rehab, all that stuff? And I know there's going to be some things of him having to work back in, but just your thoughts from a scouting perspective of him when you selected him.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously agree with you. We thought he was one of the better corners in the draft. I think he may have been had some of the best skills of anybody, and but certainly didn't play at a Power 5 type conference or that type of thing. But the biggest thing is he hadn't played football in almost a year, and he's just been really diligent in his rehab process. Britt Brown would tell you he's one of the best he's had, being a young guy. And I know he's excited, but he hadn't gotten to, play any football other than the practices we've had over the last 3 weeks. So, right now it looks like he's going to get his feet wet and should be active, and we'll bring him along and fired up about what his future looks like.
Then just league-wide, I was curious with the NBA and MLB stories from the last couple of weeks. To what extent is the NFL concerned with the sports betting scandals popping up in other sports? How much is this on your radar?
Well, I think anything to do with our sport and anything that could, hurt its credibility, we're always on top of that. Not just because you read a story in another sport, but it certainly brings it to your attention. when they have those type of issues. But I think we do a great job, at the league level. And certainly then, we have our policies that then work their way down to the club levels. And, we feel like we're on top of it. But I don't think you can ever be aware enough to know that you got to keep your eye on things that can be very disruptive to the league and to the teams.
Yeah, you can't control everybody. It's just so many people, and humans have a history of doing funny things when more money's involved, don't they?
Well, that does happen. I mean, I think you said it best, and you just have to be aware, and you have to constantly educate players, coaching staffs in general about what policies are and, how you need to handle yourself on a day-to-day basis.
Well, congrats to everybody in the organization for how y'all handled yourselves over the last couple of weeks. I know it's been tough, so best of luck moving forward. Give them hell. We'll be pulling for you.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a great weekend.